Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Today we're going to be working on a Daiwa reel. It's the Daiwa Lexa. It's the Lexa 300 HL, and it's got a problem. This reel was dropped off at my shop. Sounds like something is seriously wrong with this. I asked the individual if he had it apart, and the answer was no. And, well, it just shouldn't be reacting the way it is. This drag is fully tightened down. Something is just way out of whack with this. So I've done service videos on Alexa before. We're going to try and see if we can figure out what in the world is going on with this one. It probably is a broken part. We may not be able to get the full reel service today, but at least we'll do a diagnosis. And hopefully it's something that can be repaired without worrying. It almost feels like there's a broken bearing or something. The play in the spool is okay. It's not terrible, but I don't know. So let's get started by taking these pieces off. As I do, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel. My channel covers all kinds of fishing reel service and repair, as well as industry observations. We look at the manufacturers, the industry trends, fishing reels that have been recently introduced. We'll do some product reviews. Also do a look at the vintage, the older reels, and how they're put together and why they were made and who made them and when they were made and how they're used and so on. So if you like those kinds of topics, I want to encourage you to subscribe. And, well, best way to know what I'm posting is to use that notification button to subscribe after you subscribe to see what's going on. All right, we know it's not the handle, but there are 2 oil ports in the handle. We might as well take care of that right now. Just using an oiler and fishing reel oil is the way to do that. When I take my pieces and parts off, they go into a parts tray. I use a fast food container for that purpose. And, well, there's a good chance that we'll be able to find out what's going on inside here. So we're going to remove the start adjuster. And this is a good place to tell you to take pictures and parts. Take notes as you're servicing the reel. Just don't jump into everything. It's not a race. And, well, it may help you later. I like to say take pictures. Pictures tell 1,000 words, right? But if you want to note that there's a flat washer and then 2 belly washers underneath, but sitting on top of the click noise maker, but that the noisemaker bowl faces up. Those are all important things to notice when it comes time to reinstall. I think we can take the side plate off here. I want to make sure that there's no screw that's holding the reel together from the other side. And to do the side plate removal, you just simply back off the screw here. I think we're off. I don't think it comes out. So you can actually use a coin for that. And then we should be able to move this up and out of the way. Oh, I think I still have that in there. Or I might just simply pull out. That goes down, not up. Okay. All right, bring that out. We can see a lot of dirt in there, right? Wow. All kinds of dirt and debris in this reel. Don't know what happened to this reel. You can just see right here on this mag brake side. All kinds of dirt. Best thing to do, I get that answer quite a bit. What's the best way to do this? The first thing that I like to do is just take this over to a tap, run fresh water on it. We've talked a lot about best practices after you finish fishing. One of the best practices is to submerge your fishing reel in a bucket of fresh water to allow all the dirt and debris from that trip to kind of flush out. Another way to do it is to hose the reel off. Well, regardless of what way you're doing it, this one hasn't had that done in quite some time. All right, spool is out. I don't think this is holding. I think that's holding the nose here. We'll see. All right, let's take the side plate off here, and then we'll go probably stop the video and try and flush this reel some more. Use the screwdrivers that are appropriate for the slot in the screw. As you remove your screws, I like to put them onto my bench before I put them into my parts tray, because I want to make sure that all the screws are the same size. Don't assume that they are, throwing them in the tray only to find out you got one that's longer or shorter or of a different diameter or something like that. Then try to figure out where they go. It's not a very sound strategy to do that. All right, the first two are good. Two more over here. Got this one from the front. I think we got one from the back. Or a smaller one, I'm not quite sure what we have there. Three are the same. Okay, and this one clearly is a smaller one. So the small one goes in the front by the nose of this reel. Well, this will give us a look at what's going on the inside of this reel. All right, small, thinner one to the front. The other three are interchangeable. All of them are in my parts tray. This piece should come off now. And this is unusual because I expected to see something that just made a lot of noise, and I'm not seeing that. I'm going to pull these two springs right away. Doing a quick check here. I'm not seeing broken teeth. That's a good thing. Just wondering if it could be all that dirt on this spool and the like. It's possible. All right, I'm going to remove the pinion gear and the yoke. Should be able to remove our gear set. Little collar, for whatever reason, is being stubborn. Again, take your pictures. Know how they go. And this may be the issue. It may be that this anti-reverse clutch was not on the carrier. I just want to take a look here real quick. Okay, that's going to go on that side. There is a washer on this side of the main gear. I'm going to pull this up. And I'm going to take a minute here. We're going to shut the camera off. I'm going to take this, and this, and take it over to a freshwater tap. I'm going to run it through there and hopefully get that dirt and debris out of there and see what happens next. Okay, that didn't take long. It's amazing what just plain water pressure will do. It blew off all of the dirt and debris here, and I think that's what was making the noise. I see some light scraping going on here. So folks say, you know, how does water get in these reels? Well, it's real simple. They're not sealed reels. When you have a reel like this, you have openings on both sides of the spool. So water and debris is going to get in there, and particularly if the reel gets dunked, you know, it's going to get in there. It's going to dry. It's going to create problems. Well, we never did take this shield off. So I believe that we have this long bar here that's going to be holding that in. That goes through your line guide. So let's see if we can get this out. We'll just take a moment here. All right, that comes out. Shield comes off. Time to put these things into the parts tray. We're accumulating a lot of this on the side here. And one quick swipe of a hand or something will knock those off. We'll leave the main gear off for a moment. Okay, let's just do one more thing here. We're going to work on checking out the line guide. Since we have the reel open and it is a service, you do want to take care of all pieces and parts. Be careful, these caps are plastic. I'm sure that somebody came up with a reason for it. Probably had to do with saving a nickel somewhere. But be careful with that if you are doing this. Now you got to get that little... Just invert the reel and it'll generally fall out. Again, we're going to go on the assumption maybe this thing got dunked. So make sure you clear all of the channels of the pawl. Doesn't hurt to take a cotton swab and go inside the cavity, make sure that that gets cleaned out. Check your line guide, make sure that's all clear. I'm checking right now to make sure that the tracks are not damaged. I oil my worm gear, I don't grease that. Put our pole back in, and if it doesn't set level the first time or flush to the top, then rotate the worm gear and it should do that. Plastic caps are notorious for cracking, so just be gentle with that. Put it on by hand if you can, and just a little turn with your screwdriver to make sure that it doesn't crack or get over torqued. Okay, we can put the nose back on here then. Bring that bar back in. Now that bar threads through your line guide. You'll see it line up on the other side. And tighten that down. And that's something we just eliminated as a potential cause for this. Line guide is turning free and easy, which is what we wanted to make sure it did. We'll bring our gear back on, set that in place. This might be what was the culprit. It could very possibly be that this was not on the click ratchet. That's going to seat on this. It's going to go this way, and it needs to have the teeth split. One fork on each side of it. This is a lefty. Probably should have remembered that. Goes the other way. Okay, that is your anti-reverse. I'm not sure I found it that way, but when you're going forward, it'll spin nice and free and easy. When you stop and go backwards, it's going to pinch in, stop the reel. Pinch in, stop the reel. Okay, all good there. Continuing to examine the pieces and parts as we put them back on. Continuing to be a little perplexed by what happened, but whatever it was, I find it interesting. There are ramps here that are going to be U-trip ramps. Those are going to face in, as is the slot on your pinion gear. Grease the shoulders. Make sure your slots are in the right direction. Grease the pinion gear. Bring that in. Yeah, so I think this is about the dirt that was inside the cavity. We're going to find out. All right, pinion gear goes on like that. Take a look at what's going on inside the main gear. Again, if you expect to see that you had some issues with your dirt and debris, you certainly want to check all the pieces and parts. We have two very wide drag washers. Those are the first two. These alternate. You're going to have a keyed washer, which has got a rectangular center in it. You're going to have an eared washer, which goes in the two slots here, and then the top one's going to be another keyed washer. Inspect. It's all clean. If you have any doubts, if you think that maybe there's some residual dirt, just grab a bristle brush. You can use a toothbrush or something. Pull it through. I'm not seeing anything, but again, more of a demonstration than anything at this point. And then relube. So I haven't seen a broken part. I did see a lot of dirt and junk on the non-gear side, in the spool, and in the covers of the spool. I think that's probably what was making some of the difference. I checked the bearings. The bearings seem to be fine. So we'll see if it was just a matter of cleaning that stuff up. There is a washer on the back end of this that goes on next. That spacer washer is important because if you don't put it on, you're going to trap the wings of that anti-reverse dog. Merge your pinion gear with your main gear. You want to check the drag washers. As long as you can see the cross hatching in it, those drag washers are fine. Not excessively worn. Alright, as we mentioned, the first one goes in around there. The first of the keyed washers. Those are the rectangular ones. Next of the wide washers. Then we have the one with the points. That's called the eared washer. That goes on top now. Then the full washer goes. And then we have a washer that's a little bit thicker and a little bit raised in the center. The raised portion goes up and sits like that. Then you saw me take the collar off before. That's the spacer for the gear sleeve. That goes on. Then we have our two yoke springs go on. And we didn't have any problem with the trip lever. And this is all clean, so just put a nice amount of oil on that trip lever. And we can close this side up. Time to reinstall the side plate then. Let's take the side plate, bring that in, up and over. Should be a quick and easy set. There are little pins that do need to be aligned, so make sure that those all fit so that you have a nice, tight, and even finish to that. We did knock that bearing out on the reinstall, so we'll put that back in. Now we can go to our parts tray and get those screws that belong in the side plate. Remember, there's 3 of them that are the same, and 1 of them that is narrow and thinner. And of course, we've marked our locations for those, so we know that the small one belongs in the front of this reel. Okay, one down below. And I like to alternate high and low, kind of north, south, east, west type of an approach. Keep the tension equal on it. So we'll go up and opposite on this one. So I think this is a case where we had a lot of dirt in the reel. I don't think anything's mechanically wrong with it, but of course we won't know until we put it back together. Give it that test. But it didn't. The noise I was hearing, and you were hearing as well, certainly said that there was something grinding, and I think it was all that dirt and debris on the back side of this. Okay, that's one more. We have a small one that goes up front here. Let's see if we can get this in. And you can notice we're using all different types of screwdrivers and the like. I always wonder on the assembly line how it is that they make that work that way. All right, I'm not sure, it's been a while. I'm not sure if I oiled this. I did test it. There's no problem with it spinning there, as is there no problem with the other one. Let's bring this back in. Let's bring our case back on. There we go. That took a little while, but take your time. Again, you don't get any points for going fast. This one's got a coin slot. It's a weird one. So even though this screwdriver is the right screwdriver, probably do better just using a washer. Okay, bring that in, tighten that up. All right, let's bring this back together then. Next piece that goes in is our noisemaker. We have the two belly washers or tension washers next. The flat washer. The star adjuster. Make sure that it goes on square. If it's not going on square, stop. Don't force it. The first piece is always tough, and it's always kind of interesting. You can spend a little time doing this. And eventually you will get it. Well, while I'm doing that, if you have any questions on this reel or any reel, if you want to leave those questions in the comment section, I will try to answer those for you. I entertain all questions. I think what the old saying is, there's no such thing as a dumb question, only a question that goes unanswered, because it's unasked. When you get to this point, you may notice that that click maker is trapped in the star adjuster. Just take a little screwdriver or something, push it in before you continue. That's the wrong screwdriver, but if you just push it in, it will sneak under there, and you can continue. Use your handle as a wrench if you find that you're turning the post. And I can hear that noisemaker. Well, I'll be surprised if we haven't fixed the issue, but I'll also be surprised if we have fixed the issue, because the only thing that was obvious inside of here was the dirt. So let's take a continued look at this. Tension washer goes next. Your handle goes on. Your handle nut is reverse threaded, so you're going to tighten it by going in a counterclockwise direction. And you want to make sure you do the same thing with this nut that you did with that star adjuster. You need to make sure that it goes on square. If it doesn't go on easy, if you can't get it tightened by your hand, by using your hand, then you're going to strip the pegs. I think we got it that time. All right. Grab the wrench here. Tighten this up. And generally, if that point on your nut is pointing to the hole in the handle, your cap will work. Line up perfectly. This is the last screw in the tray, so we've put all the pieces back together. Now whether Humpty Dumpty is going to work again is another thing. Small screw, big notch. Okay, time to give it a test. Let's get that glove off. What did we do? We took the reel completely apart. We looked for signs of damage. All we could find was a lot of debris in the non-gear side. Looked like maybe it had gone underwater. We explained a little bit about how sand and salt and debris can get in through the seams where the spool is, that this is not a sealed reel. Well, we cleaned it all up, put it all back together again. Let's see how it performs now. Remember, we had a click, 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 click. It wasn't holding with the drag. There were some other issues going on, including a very loud noise. So how did we do? Let's put it into free spool first. Make sure that the spool spins. Spool spins nice and free and easy. You can adjust that spool now. Let's click it back. This is the spool adjuster. You can remove the tension on the spool. That'll make it go spin faster. And you can tighten that up by turning it in a clockwise manner. That'll make it go slower, and those are adjusted to the line weights that you have. That spins nice and easy. I'm not hearing any noise whatsoever from where we cleaned up with the tap water. Okay, put it back, make sure it clicks back up. It does. Let's give it a ride. Well, that's a whole different reel than we had coming in. Does the drags hold? Drags are holding nice and firm and steady. And, well, there you go. So I think this one can be attributed to dirt and debris. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. Before I leave, I want to thank our first responders, our police, fire, safety, rescue, everybody involved in keeping us out of harm's way. I want to let you know that I appreciate what you do day in and day out and your dedication to task. I want to thank everybody for watching. You're the people who make this channel what it is. All of our subscribers, all of our watchers and viewers, I thank you for that. I continue to enjoy your comments, your suggestions, and, well, keeping me on track to deliver what you want to see in terms of fishing wheel service and repair and what you want to learn about in terms of the industry. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle wishing everybody a great day.